Velociraptor roamed the Earth about 85.8 million to 70.6 million years ago during the end of the Cretaceous period. In 1924, Henry Fairfield Osborn, then president of the American Museum of Natural History, named Velociraptor. He bestowed the name on this dinosaur, which is derived from the Latin words velox, swift, and raptor, robber or plunderer, as an apt description of its agility and carnivorous diet. Earlier that year, Osborn had called the dinosaur Oviraptor judoctari in an article in the popular press, but the creature wasn't formally described in the article, and the name Oviraptor wasn't mentioned in a scientific journal, making Velociraptor the accepted name. A member of the Dromaeosauridae family of small to medium-sized bird-like dinosaurs, Velociraptor was roughly the size of a small turkey and smaller than others in this family of dinosaurs, which included Deinonychus and Achillobator. Adult velociraptors grew up to 6.8 feet, 2 meters long, 1.6 feet, 0.5 meter tall at the hip, and weighed up to 33 lbs, 15 kilograms. Like Tyrannosaurus rex, Velociraptor had a prominent role in the Jurassic Park movies, but scientists do not believe it resembled anything close to its Hollywood depiction in terms of size or appearance. In fact, the movie's Velociraptor was actually modeled after Deinonychus and sported a similar size and snout. While the Velociraptor was featherless in the movies, paleontologists discovered quill knobs, places where the flight-related feathers of birds are anchored to the bone, on a well-preserved Velociraptor forearm from Mongolia in 2007, indicating the dinosaur had feathers. Despite having feathers, however, the arms of velociraptors were too short to allow them to fly or even glide. The find suggests that the dinosaur's dromaeosaurid ancestors could fly at one point, but lost that ability, according to the study published in the journal Science. Velociraptor retained its feathers and possibly used them to attract mates, regulate body temperature, protect eggs from the environment, or generate thrust and speed while running up inclines. Velociraptor had a relatively large skull, which was about 9.1 inches, 23 centimeters long, concave on the upper surface and convex on the lower surface, according to a 1999 description of a Velociraptor skull published in the journal Acta Paleontologica Polonica. Additionally, its snout was long, narrow and shallow, and made up about 60% of the dinosaur's entire skull length. Velociraptor had 13 to 15 teeth in its upper jaw and 14 to 15 teeth in its lower jaw. These teeth were widely spaced and serrated, though more strongly on the back edge than the front. Velociraptor's tail of hard, fused bones was inflexible, but likely kept it balanced as it ran, hunted and jumped. Velociraptor, like other dromaeosaurids, had 2 large hand-like appendages with 3 curved claws. They also had a sickle-shaped talon on the second toe of each foot. They normally kept these talons off the ground like folded switchblades and used them as hooks to keep their prey from escaping, similar to modern birds of prey, according to a study published in 2011 in the journal PLOS One. The fast predator also appears to have had a complicated relationship with Protoceratops, a sheep-sized herbivore and ancestor to Triceratops. In 1971, a Polish-Mongolian team discovered the famous fighting dinosaurs specimen, fossils of a velociraptor and Protoceratops locked in a death grip in which the velociraptor embedded one of its foot claws into the neck of the Protoceratops, while the Protoceratops bit down on, and probably broke, one of the velociraptor's arms. Preserved in sand deposits after being buried from a collapsing sand dune or sudden sandstorm, the pair proved that velociraptors hunted for food, but an attack on such a large animal probably wasn't common. Few predators ever take on prey bigger than 50% of their body mass, Hone told Live Science, adding that the velociraptor could have been starving or simply young and dumb. But that's not to say Velociraptor didn't frequently eat Protoceratops carcasses. In 2008, researchers unearthed Protoceratops fossils marred with marks and grooves matching raptor teeth, as well as 2 teeth that belonged either to Velociraptor or another dromaeosaurid. After analyzing the remains, Hone and his colleagues determined that the raptor didn't kill the plant eater. Instead, it fed on the Protoceratops, which likely had little meat left on it, hence the bite marks on the herbivore's jaws and raptor's knocked-out teeth, according to the study, published 2010 in the journal Paleogeography, Paleoclimatology, Paleoecology. In 2012, Hone and his colleagues also discovered that velociraptors sometimes ate pterosaurs when the team found a large pterosaur bone in the guts of a velociraptor. The pterosaur had a wingspan of about 6.5 feet, 2 em, and may have been a formidable foe even if it were sick and injured, suggesting the velociraptor most likely scavenged the pterosaur bone, Hone said. What did Velociraptor eat? Velociraptor was a carnivore that hunted and scavenged for food. It spent the vast majority of the time eating small things, which likely included reptiles, amphibians, insects, small dinosaurs and mammals, said David Hone, a paleontologist at Queen Mary University of London. It's a sad fact that the Velociraptor's claim to pop culture fame in Jurassic Park is based on a lie. The special effects wizards have long since confessed that they modelled their Velociraptor after the much bigger and much more dangerous-looking Raptor Deinonychus antiropus, whose name isn't quite as catchy or as easy to pronounce and who lived about 30 million years before its more famous relative. Jurassic World had the chance to set the record straight, but it stuck with the big Velociraptor fib. If life were fair, Deinonychus would be a much better-known dinosaur than the Velociraptor, but that's the way the Jurassic amber crumbles. Velociraptor had feathers, not scaly, reptilian skin. Extrapolating from the smaller, more primitive feathered raptors that predated it by millions of years, paleontologists believe velociraptors sported feathers too, due to having quill knobs, just like today's birds, on their bones where feathers would have attached. Artists have depicted this dinosaur as possessing everything from pale, colorless, chicken-like tufts to green plumage worthy of a South American parrot. Whatever the case, Velociraptor almost certainly wasn't lizard-skinned, as it's portrayed in the Jurassic movies. Assuming velociraptors needed to sneak up on their prey, we're on safer ground, assuming that they weren't too brightly feathered. For a dinosaur that's often mentioned in the same breath as Tyrannosaurus rex, Velociraptor was remarkably puny. This meat-eater weighed only approximately 30 pounds soaking wet, about the same as a good-sized human toddler, and was just 2 feet tall and 6 feet long. In fact, it would take 6 or 7 adult velociraptors to equal one average-sized Deinonychus, 500 to match a full-grown Tyrannosaurus rex, and 5,000 or so to equal the weight of one good-sized Titanosaur. But who's counting? Certainly not the people who script Hollywood movies. To date, all of the dozen or so identified Velociraptor specimens have been of solitary individuals. The idea that velociraptors ganged up on their prey in cooperative packs probably stems from the discovery of associated Deinonychus remains in North America. This larger raptor may have hunted in packs to bring down larger duck-billed dinosaurs such as Tenontosaurus, but there's no particular reason to extrapolate those findings to Velociraptor. But then again, there's no particular reason not to. The Velociraptor's IQ has been wildly exaggerated. Remember that scene in Jurassic Park where a velociraptor figures out how to turn a doorknob? Pure fantasy. Even the putatively smartest dinosaur of the Mesozoic era, Troodon, was probably dumber than a newborn kitten, and it's a safe bet that no reptiles, extinct or extant, have ever learned how to use tools, with the possible exception of the American alligator. A real-life velociraptor would likely have butted its head against that closed kitchen door until it knocked itself out, and then its hungry pal would have feasted on its remains. Given its red carpet treatment in Hollywood, you might expect velociraptors to have been as American as apple pie, but the fact is that this dinosaur lived in what is now modern-day Mongolia about 70 million years ago. The most famous species is named Velociraptor mongoliensis. America firsters in need of a native raptor will have to settle for Velociraptor's much bigger and much deadlier cousins, Deinonychus and Utahraptor, the latter of which weighed as much as 1,500 pounds fully grown and was the largest raptor that ever lived. Velociraptor's main weapons were its single curved hind claws. Although its sharp teeth and clutching hands were certainly unpleasant, The go-to weapons in Velociraptor's arsenal were the single, curved, 3-inch-long claws on each of its hind feet, which it used to slash, jab, and disembowel prey. Paleontologists surmise that a velociraptor stabbed its prey in the gut in sudden surprise attacks, then withdrew to a safe distance as its victim bled to death, a strategy emulated millions of years later by the saber-toothed tiger, which leaped on its prey from the low branches of trees. Velociraptor wasn't as speedy as its name implies. The name Velociraptor translates from the Greek as speedy thief, and it wasn't nearly as fast as contemporary ornithomimids or bird-mimic dinosaurs, some of which could attain speeds of up to 40 or 50 mph. Even the fastest velociraptors would have been severely hampered by their short turkey-sized legs and could have easily been outrun by an athletic human child. It's possible, though, that these predators could have attained more lift in mid-stride with the aid of their presumably feathered arms. Velociraptor enjoyed lunching on Protoceratops. Velociraptors weren't particularly big, smart, or speedy. So how did they survive the unforgiving ecosystem of late Cretaceous Central Asia? Well, by attacking comparably small dinosaurs such as the pig-sized Protoceratops. One famous fossil specimen preserves a Velociraptor and Protoceratops locked in life-and-death combat as they were both buried alive by a sudden sandstorm, and judging by the evidence, it's far from obvious that Velociraptor had the upper hand when they perished. It looks like Protoceratops got in some good licks and may even have been on the brink of breaking free. Velociraptor may have been warm-blooded, like modern mammals. Cold-blooded reptiles don't excel at actively pursuing and savagely attacking their prey. Think of crocodiles patiently hovering underwater until a terrestrial animal ventures too close to the river's edge. That fact, combined with Velociraptor's probable coat of feathers, leads paleontologists to conclude that this raptor and many other meat-eating dinosaurs, including tyrannosaurs and dino birds, possessed a warm-blooded metabolism comparable to those of modern birds and mammals, and was able to generate its own internal energy rather than relying entirely on the sun. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe for more videos.